What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today I'm going to be discussing from 1995, Friday, starring Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, Nia Long, Bernie Mac, Tiny Zeus Lister, John Witherspoon, Maria Horsford, Regina King, Faizon Love, DJ Pooh, and so many others. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again on another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. Today is my 100th episode since resurrecting the show. It's a big day, monumental, and we're kicking it off with one of the best stoner films that I've ever seen. And I've seen the Jay and Silent Bobs. I've seen some of the Cheech and Chongs. I've seen How High. But nothing will ever top the original Friday. And it's a trilogy, so how much more fitting than to bring it in my trilogies month. And let's get down to business here, shall we? Now, before I get into the synopsis, it's interesting to point out that the co-writers of the film, Ice Cube and DJ Pooh respectively, constructed the story due to disenchantment. Both men expressed a disdain in the way that the hood was portrayed in cinema. Violent, menacing, dark. Where a place where problems always occur. And that's not to say that there aren't problems in the hood, but there's more to it than that. You think about films like Menace to Society, Juice, and even Boys in the Hood, which was Ice Cube's launching point as an actor. So they decided to counteract that and portray the hood as a little bit lighter. You still have the neighborhood bully, you still have a drive-by, but the imagery is a lot more brighter. There's a lot more fun and funny things that happen in this day in the life in the hood, this Friday, if you will. And it's not all negative. It's not all bad. But I digress. Our film revolves around Craig Jones. And prior to the opening of the film, Craig gets fired from his job on his day off, no less, supposedly for stealing boxes. So Craig spends the day hanging out with his best friend, Smokey. Now, Smokey is a small-time drug dealer who has been charged by Big Worm to sell some marijuana for him. But Smokey's a pothead, so him and Craig get into trouble with Big Worm over his product. Big Worm tells Smokey that, if he doesn't have his weed or his money by 10 p.m., then they're going to be killed. They're going to be dealt with. And the antics that follow are more or less related to that one jump-off point. Now, in addition to the Big Worm situation, Craig and Smokey also have to be concerned with the neighborhood bully, Deebo. And Deebo just shows up sporadically in order to strong-arm the pair and whoever else he may encounter. Now, when the neighbor Stanley takes off to run a couple of errands, Deebo forces Smokey to break into Stanley's house by entering through the window and rob Stanley, while Craig plays lookout. And if he sees Stanley coming back, whistle. And while they're inside the house, Smokey and Deebo are arguing pretty much the entire time because Smokey doesn't want to be in there. He's on probation. Anything that he does, if he gets busted by the cops, he's going and doing jail time. They end up coming up with $200, which Deebo keeps all to himself. He refuses to share it with Smokey. During a trip to the liquor store, Craig and Smokey encounter Ezel, the local crackhead, who fakes a slip and fall in the store in an attempt to get some money from the owner-operator. As the day goes on, we get two different flashbacks as stories narrated by Smokey. One of them is regarding a time when Smokey smoked out with one of his Hispanic friends, Hector. And he hit the joint so hard, unaware that it was angel dust, and he started tripping hard, ended up in Deebo's chicken coop. And the other flashback is about a time when he was shooting dice with Deebo, and Red, one of the locals, one of Craig and Smokey's friends, attempts to get his bike back from Deebo, and he ends up getting knocked out, resulting in a serious black eye. As the day progresses and we get a little bit deeper into the day, Craig attempts to borrow the money that they owe Big Worm from a variety of different people. He asks his sister Dana and even his girlfriend Joy. And Joy is a trip. She is a psychotic, jealous girlfriend. She is really caught up in the he said, she said, and if someone tells her something about Craig, she immediately believes it, gives him no benefit of the doubt to defend himself. But he asks her for the money, and Joy is just about to give him the money. But Felicia, a local druggie, shows up. And Joy, like I said, jealous, flips out, assuming that Craig is cheating on her with Felicia. And Craig wants no part of Felicia. Craig has been kind of eyeing Felicia's sister, Debbie, but he wants no part of Felicia. Smokey ends up smelling some of the weed to Hector, which helps them recuperate some of the money that they owe to Big Worm, but not enough. And Craig goes to his room to grab his gun as protection so he can walk Smokey home. His father sees it, and he implores it to leave him behind. And honestly, this is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Hey, Craig, have you seen my shoe? What's that for?
Protection.
Protection? Protection from who?
Yeah, Smokey. I got to walk Smokey down to his house.
Oh, man. Your mother and I never would have moved in this neighborhood if we had known you need a gun to walk down the damn street.
You know how it is around here.
Oh, no, son. That's not the way it is. You kids today are nothing but punks. Sissified. So quick to pick up a gun. You're scared to take an ass whipping. This is what makes you a man. When I was growing up, this was all the protection we needed. You win some, you lose some. But you live. You live to fight another day. And you think you're a man with that gun in your hand, don't you?
I'm a man without it.
Put the gun down. Come on, put up your dukes. Now you're a man. Your uncle picked up a gun, too. He had to find out the hard way. 22 years old. You got a choice. These are all you need. All right?
Just a powerful message conveyed in those words by Johnny Witherspoon. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day. As the day turns to night, Smokey goes to Felicia and Debbie's house and he discovers that Deebo is there, asleep with Felicia. So Smokey decides to climb in through the bedroom window in order to steal the $200 from Deebo's pockets that he helped Deebo steal from Stanley in the first place. And he's just about to get the money, but Ezale shows up and just totally thwarts Smokey's plan because he's trying to climb in the window, see what he can steal, makes a little bit too much noise. Smokey goes back and tells Craig that he almost had the money, and him and Craig are just about to go back and try again to get the money from Deebo's pants. But Deebo comes riding down the street on Red's bike that he had stolen. And once Deebo passes, Craig and Smokey see a car rolling up real slow like, and they suspect a drive-by. So they go inside the house and they hide inside Craig's room for a good chunk of the evening. When they finally return outside, right around 10 o'clock, Big Worm's men are out there in a van and they begin to open fire. Craig and Smokey run off, and while they're ducking and dodging, Debbie finds Deebo, and he's kind of hanging out with Ezale. And Debbie confronts Deebo because Deebo beat on Felicia. Deebo saw that somebody tried to go through his stuff, and he suspected that Felicia did it since she's a local druggie. Figured she was trying to get a hold of the money so she could get a hold of some drugs for herself. And Debbie steps to Deebo and is like, all these guys around here may be scared of you, but I'm not. I'm not scared of you. Deebo ends up slapping Debbie, and this is where Craig and Smokey end up entering the scene again, and Craig gets involved, defending Debbie. Deebo and Craig engage in a fist fight, and Deebo has the upper hand, even putting Craig to sleep with the sleeper choke. When Craig comes to, thanks to encouragement from his friends who are kind of watching on, and the rest of the block who want to see Deebo get what he deserves, Craig ends up knocking Deebo out cold, and Smokey runs up on him, says the ever classic line, "You got knocked the fuck out, man." Grabs the $200 off of Deebo, which allows him to pay off a Big Worm in the end. Red takes back his bicycle, as well as a chain that Deebo had stolen off of him earlier in the day. And even Ezale steals Deebo's shoes because he's just a thief. He's trying to find something to get some drugs. Debbie ends up tending to Craig's wounds, and when Joy calls to find out who is shooting at Craig and why, Craig breaks up with her over the phone. Our film ends with Smokey on the phone, talking to Big Worm, telling him that he has the money for him, and telling him to sell his own drugs next time because he's going to go to rehab. When Smokey hangs up, he breaks the fourth wall and tells us that he was just bullshitting. And you know this, man. Like I said, Friday is without a doubt my favorite stoner comedy. And I'm not even a stoner, but I get a lot of the jokes and the references in this film, which is why I think I gravitate towards it so much. It's a stoner comedy for stoners, and it's a stoner comedy for non-stoners. Like, it's very easy to get the jokes in this, and you don't have to be a part of the drug culture to understand the references. They just do it so well. The all-star cast, like I said, Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac, Johnny Witherspoon, Regina King, Nia Long, killer soundtrack, songs by Cypress Hill, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, KD, EA Ski. Just one of the best soundtracks to come out of a 90s hip hop movie, top to bottom. Friday is one of those movies that's just super, super quotable. Like, it's been a while since I've watched it, I'm not going to lie. Back in the day, I used to watch it all the time. It's been a while since I watched it, but I sat over here in my chair watching it, and I still knew virtually every line in the film, quoting it along with the screen. Thankfully, no one was watching it with me because I know I probably would have driven them nuts. What do you guys think of Friday? Before I reveal my rating, my star rating for Friday, what do you guys think? Those of you that are watching along the premiere, the live stream, let me know over here in the comments. Those of you that watch it on demand, let me know down here in the comment box. But when it comes to my rating of Friday, like I said, I've already spoken so highly of it. It should come as no surprise. The original Friday gets 5 stars from me. And especially, like I said, the fact that I don't do drugs, I've never done drugs, but I understand the jokes and the references in this film. I just think it appeals to all people, not just the stoner niche, which is what it was obviously targeting when this film was made. Do you guys agree with me about 5 stars? Do you think I should give it less? Again, let me know. Over here if you're watching the live stream, down here if you're watching it on demand. Let's make sure we get out there, get those hashtags going on the social media. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios, hashtag Renegades Reviews, hashtag Renegade Returns, and of course the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade JJ Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag Statboy Approved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Don't forget to get out there. Do what that commercial just told you. Go to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network. Get you your official merchandise of the Jeff Meacham Network. Your logo t-shirts, 3 different logos to choose from. Royal Rumble inspired, Back to the Future inspired, LA Kings inspired. Get you your Meachamania shirts. Get you your Talk Wrestling shirts. Support the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood. Get you a shirt for myself, the Renegade JJ Williams. Get you a Dad's Not Always on Wrestling shirt. Hashtag Statboy Approved, Statboy Sports Bar, and so much more. Tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, when I bring you yet another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. Make sure you tune in. It will be 420. Yes, this trilogy being planned at this part of the month was on purpose. We go from Friday to next Friday. And the return of Ice Cube, Johnny Witherspoon, Tiny Zeus Lister, and the introduction of Mike Epps, Justin Pierce, Don D.C. Curry, Clifton Powell, and sticky fingers. You're not going to want to miss next Friday, right here on Renegades Reviews, as we celebrate 420. Thank you for joining me today for my 100th episode of Renegades Reviews. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for riding with me for 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more. Thank you guys for watching along, whether you did on the live stream or you're going to be watching on demand. As always, leave me those comments. April 29th will be the next Renegade recap. I will try to read some of your guys' comments on the air there when I go live at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time on April 29th. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.